We continue our reading of God's Dream for You, The Chosen, a morning devotional by author Dwight K. Nelson. Our reading today, July 12, Bowling Alone. The body is a unit, though it is made up of many parts. And though all its parts are many, they form one body. So it is with Christ. If one part suffers, every part suffers with it. If one part is honored, every part rejoices with it. Now, you are the body of Christ, and each one of you is a part of it. 1 Corinthians 12, 26, and 27. Back in the mid-90s, a rather obscure academic suddenly found himself catapulted onto the stage of public attention. He was invited to Camp David to spend a weekend with the U.S. President. His picture appeared on the cover of People magazine. A major publishing house offered to publish his research, all because of Robert Putnam's provocative thesis that America is suffering from a growing social capital deficit. He argues that civil society itself is breaking down as more and more Americans become disconnected from their families, their communities, and the republic itself. All of this precipitated by television, two-career families, suburban sprawl, generational changes in values, etc. We've become a nation of loners, and bowling is his metaphor of proof. While years ago thousands of Americans bowled in leagues, today people tend to bowl alone, if at all. Bowling alone has become the American way of life. What a stark contrast to Acts' portrayal of communal life in the early church. They had all things in common, says Acts 4:32. Men and women, Jews and Gentiles, the haves and the have-nots, saints and sinners, the infant church was a menagerie of community. Some have fretted that the church in Acts was a grand experiment in Christian socialism, where the goods of all were thrown into a pot for all. But a careful reading reveals that there was no compulsion, as the story of Ananias and Sapphira makes clear. All liquidated and gave their assets freely, and the recipients of the offerings were those in need, not the entire church. What is also clear is that nobody was bowling alone. Nobody had to. Why? As Paul championed in our text today, the Church of Christ is the very body of Christ. Can you imagine one of your organs succumbing to growing social capital deficit and choosing to live and function alone? The very notion is ludicrous, since the health of the organism is dependent upon the collective health of the organs. No heart can bowl or beat alone and survive. It is the collective nature of community that keeps health optimum for your personal body and for your local church. And that's why you need the church, and the church needs you. This concludes our reading today of God's Dream for You, The Chosen.